hi, hello. Welcome back to Emily A to Z. My name is Emily, and today is the kickoff of Winterween 2025. Whoa, 2026. It is January 9th, Friday, January 9th. Today is day one. I'm very excited to be participating in Winterween this year. I have my TBR fully planned. I've posted my photo of it. I'm excited to jump right in. I do have to work today, so that means I'm going to be starting off with Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. This is what I'm going to be reading for a book with vampires. I'm very excited. And then when I come home tonight, I am going to work on this novella, Ring Shout by Djeli Clark. I think that's how you say it. I will double check. And this is what I'm going to be reading for the read at night or in the dark prompt. I am hoping to read one book for every single of one of the 5 prompts. Fingers crossed that that happens. But what's Winterween? If you don't know what Winterween is, it is hosted by Gabby of Gabby Reads, and I will link her announcement video, the description of it, and the Instagram account in my description so you can figure it out. But it is a week-long readathon event that she hosts, and this year the theme is like bloodbath, so very vampire forward, which you know what is fitting because guess what? It's my time of the month. It started this morning. Yay! I'm right on theme. I am on brand. So perfect for this week. Don't let my laughter and my sunny disposition flee you. I am miserable. I am in so much pain. It sucks, but I have to go to work. I have to be an adult, but that means it's time to get started. So let's go. Hello. It is officially Saturday, January 10th. Sorry for this like halo. I'm in my kitchen. I'm actually preparing a crock pot meal for tonight, and I just thought I would chat with you whilst I have a moment to myself, because you see, I'm setting up the crock pot for dinner. Caden helped me by doing the dishes, and now he's taking some nice self-care time to himself. He's going to take himself a nice bath, which I think is lovely. And whilst I get this set up for later tonight, let's talk about what I read. And plus, this way, if crockpot dinner means I don't have to worry about making dinner later because it's already been cooking all day, so more time for me to read. Caden's helped me do chores, which is brilliant. Highly recommend. And yeah, what am I making? I have a recipe for chicken and wild rice soup with cornbread muffins. I'm very excited to try this later. Anyways, so I am 30% of the way into Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. We are following Anna and Reed. They have a baby girl, an almost 1-year-old named Charlie. And when the story opens, they've just won a housing lottery in New York. And they've been offered an apartment in this like prestigious old classic like apartment building like the Deptford or whatever. And they just like can't believe their luck. Everything's crazy. They're a little suspicious at first, especially Anna. Anna is paralyzed. She had a traumatic birth experience. She had like an old injury and didn't realize because of an epidural that like her body was being put in pain, and it paralyzed her from like the waist down. So she's in a wheelchair, and she is dealing with that. Like it's been like 11 months since she gave birth. She's been confined to a wheelchair ever since, and she is mad. She resents it. She has a lot of anger, which makes sense because she was a dancer, and you know she moved and she danced, and then and they spent like all this money doing fertility treatments to get pregnant just for her to become paralyzed after birth. And so she's angry with herself. She's holding some anger towards Charlie. There's been this hint of this like postpartum depression and potentially some postpartum rage, and they are struggling. Reed is doing his best, as best as he can. He's a supportive husband and father. I have no complaints against Reed other than he seems kind of flat. He seems like he's just supposed to be like a stereotypical, just good guy. He's not a jerk. He seems perfectly fine. So I have, again, no complaints towards Reed. If anything, he seems like a really supportive and loving husband and father. He's very dedicated to his family, to providing. Yeah. So he sees this opportunity as an opportunity. He's like, this is our chance to have like a nice apartment and we can start over. Our luck has turned around. They move into this apartment building. Everything seems okay for the most part. Anna's a little unsettled. We've gotten hints of things, and I really enjoy this aspect of Nat Cassidy's writing. He has done this thing where at the end of a chapter, he makes these offhand statements at the end of chapters that I just think are brilliant, where it's so nonchalant the way he writes something very upsetting or disturbing will happen, and he just casually throws it in as just like a regular sentence at the end of a chapter. And I think that is brilliant because there's not this giant buildup, right? It's not this big massive statement or this big like kind of moment, but it's just so casually thrown in there that it does fill you with this sense of dread. And it's not every chapter, it's not every sentence, but when it does happen, it's just like the first one happened in like the second or third chapter. They go and tour this apartment building. This is not a spoiler because it happens right at the beginning. They're touring this apartment building, and after they leave, we get a brief little POV from the realtor, the agency person who brought them to tour the apartment. And she just casually mentions that she caught a roach. And you're like, oh yeah, that's gross. And she was hoping that they didn't notice that she didn't shake their hands because she was holding the roach in her hands when they left because she didn't want them to see that she had it. Can I block that light? And so she was like holding her hands and was like, you're not supposed to be here. And then kind of hints that like, but it's like fortuitous that the roach was there. And then she fucking eats it. Excuse my language, but like that, and it was just the way he casually was like, she like caught it and was just like, you're not supposed to be here. And then she popped it into her mouth. And like, then this chapter just ends and we move on. And it's just so casually thrown in there that you're like, wait, hang on. No, that's not normal. What do you mean? And there's just been a couple other statements like that. I don't have any theories because I'm only 30% of the way through. But our main character, so Anna, is like homebound because she's in a wheelchair and she works from home. She's like a voiceover artist. So she works from home, balancing her work between Charlie's naps and stuff like that. She is unsettled, but she just can't put her finger on what's not right. Something's not right. Something's not right. And then one day she like realizes that their first day that they were there and she looked out what is now her daughter's bedroom window. There were gargoyles. And now when she looks out, there's no more gargoyles. And she's like, oh, maybe I just imagined it. And that set me on edge. I'm like, do we have some weird like sentient creature gargoyle thing? I picked this to fit for the vampire prompt because in my research, it showed me that this is a vampire novel. And I believe, though, it's not like traditional vampires. He does explore more of the like Jewish folklore. Reed and Anna are Jewish. And so I'm wondering if more of that's going to come into play, if he's going to use like Jewish history and Jewish tales to influence his vampiric characters. We've also had a couple creepy moments where the baby's window has been opened and they're not quite sure what's going on with why, like they just assume the other one opened the baby's window. Charlie's really unsettled. She cries constantly. She's like not happy being in this apartment. They don't know why. And then I just read a chapter where she had a really disturbing interaction with her next door neighbor. And it is implied that they are brought here because of the children, because they have babies. And now I'm like, why do we need the babies? What are you doing with the babies? That's not cool. The other book that I have read that I started yesterday was Ring Shout, and I am halfway through Ring Shout. It is a novella, so it is pretty fast. I read that at night. I'm only reading this book at night, so even though I'm halfway through and I really want to get back into it, I am using that for the read at night or in the dark prompt, so I can't read it right now because it is daylight, which sucks because I am into this novella. We are in like 1920s Georgia, where things are bad. And we're following these 3 women, specifically Maurice, I think is her name. Maryse. I think it's Maurice. And she is, along with her 2 friends, Chef and Sadie, they are like demon hunters. And the demons are actually KKK members. And it's so well done for so far, where basically it's like not every KKK person is a demon, but every demon has been a KKK member, where they are shapeshifters essentially. They believe they're demons that have been brought from like a different world a long time ago. Not even that long ago. It's in this context of the story, in like 5 years in the past, in 1915, this like horrible racist movie came out, but really it was like a magic spell. And so these like horrible white folk men cast a spell to like open up a portal from another world, where they called these demons into our world. The demons have like taken on human faces, and they masquerade as these KKK members, hunting people and killing people. And as we go on, they're like, it just kind of got revealed like, hey, it doesn't actually matter. We don't actually hate Black people. We were called into this universe, and we would have lumped onto anyone whose hate was strong enough. Whoever had the most hunger for violence or the most hatred in their souls, like that's what called to us. And it just so happened to be these assholes. And that's so fascinating, because yes, it is a plague. It is like a demon on life kind of thing. So they're like, it does not matter. We would have been called to this. And like, that was kind of eye-opening for her, where she was like, so really you don't hate Black people? And he's like, I don't care what color your skin is. This like head demon honcho dude. I don't care. But we're gonna go where like we're called. And that, like that just makes my skin crawl. But I'm very intrigued. I want to get back into it. I don't want to say too much, because it is such a fast-paced story that saying one thing is going to like give the rest of it away. But all you need to know is that like they're demon hunters, and the demons are masquerading as part of the horrible racist group, and a new force, this like big bad bigger demon dude has shown up, and he's like, we're coming because we want to take over Earth and like eat everyone, or like bring hell to Earth. It's wild, but I'm having a great time. It feels really good. Nope, that didn't sound right. Like it feels like it could be a 5-star. I'm only halfway through, but it feels, that's what I mean by I said it feels good. It feels like it could be like chef's kiss. So I'm excited to see. But it's daytime. I don't feel like listening to Nestlings. I only have the audiobook for Nestlings. I was going to listen to it while I prepared my crock pot, but Caden was in here helping me and we were talking, so I didn't do that. But I do want to sit down and read, especially while he is up in the shower. So what am I going to read? I think I'm going to grab Hungerstone. I really want to read Hungerstone. I'm going to go grab it. Okay. See you soon. Hello. It is Sunday, January 11th, and I'm halfway through Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. And this is intriguing, to say the least. I am through part 1, about to start part 2. We are following Lenore and her husband Henry. They are going off into like the English countryside to this like manor house that is falling apart and is decrepit and old. On their way to the countryside, they come across an overturned carriage where they find this woman who appears to be alone, and she's ill. The doctor comes and is like, hey, you need to keep her until she's better. She's got like a heart condition. And so they welcome her into this manor. Things start to go off the rails. This is a like retelling or a reimagining of Carmilla, which I did just read last year in 2025. But this is a reimagining of it. It's very slow. It's more modern. It's still historical. This does take place in the 1800s, the late 1800s, like the late 1880s. So it's a little bit more modern. Like they have a telephone. Her husband is a steel worker. They're basically considered like new money. Lenore comes from a family of like the to-dos, but her husband is like new money. He is part of this like steel making business, and that's where he got his riches from. She has done everything in her power, basically, to make sure that they are seen as well-to-do and like belong in the upper echelons of society at this time. So her whole life has revolved around being like this picture perfect example of a wife and what like a lady in society would be. Henry's an asshole and does not treat her well. They've been married for like 10 years, and when we open, it's very heavily implied that like they've been married for a decade, but they don't, like, Henry does not give a shit about Lenore anymore. They haven't lain with each other in like over a year. They have no children, things like that. And he's like, hey, we're gonna go, I bought us like our own house like in the countryside, so now we're gonna go here and do this, and by the way, we're throwing a party in like 2 weeks, so you need to get everything ready. So there's a lot of pressure on her to make sure that like the manor is ready, but it's falling apart, so she's overseeing work crews and trying to get all these repairs done. And on their way there, they come across this overturned carriage with Carmilla in it. And Carmilla is weird. She's outspoken and rude and just says whatever's on her mind, and she does not get along with Henry, but she seems captivated by Lenore, and Lenore is definitely captivated by Carmilla. Carmilla starts kind of whispering in Lenore's ear of like, what do you actually want? Why do you put up with this? Tell me what you want. And Lenore's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're freaking me out. Like, stop this. Like, she gets really upset every time Carmilla starts to question her. And like, why are you in this position? Why are you just doing whatever he wants? And Lenore's just like, because that's what you do. And Carmilla's like, is it? Is it though? Is that what you want? And we're getting a lot of this hunger. What do you hunger for? What do you want? And Lenore's just like, I don't know. And she's so confused, and sometimes she wants Carmilla to go away and sometimes she doesn't want Carmilla to go away. But it's really emotional. It's very character driven. It is also incredibly slow. Like, this first half of the book is like we're maybe a couple days into their stay there, and it's hundreds of pages. It's just hundreds of pages of these characters' thoughts and what they feel and what they think, and Lenore second guessing herself and talking about her past and how she was traumatized as a child because she was orphaned as a kid, and then she was sent to live with this like distant relative who hated her and couldn't stand her, and so she feels like worthless and feels like she has been told she's too much, and so she shouldn't expect anything better. She's only good for pain, and she's only good for certain things, so she shouldn't expect life to just be easy. I will say I can relate to that. There are definitely things where I was like, ooh, that felt a little close to home. Some of her statements of being told she felt too much or she was too sensitive, that Henry has told her, oh, you're not like other women because you don't get all emotional. And so she's like trained herself to not feel her feelings or to not show her feelings. But we're seeing that eat away at her. Yeah. This has the potential to be, I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star, but it has the potential to be a pretty good 4-star, maybe a 4.5. It's just so goddamn slow. However, it did just pick up. A couple reveals just happened, and I really want to get back into it and figure out what those reveals are and what we're going to do with this information. Lenore just learned something pretty significant, and I want to see what she's going to do with that knowledge now. So I'm gonna get back into it. I am here with a 2-book update. Crazy. Also, I love being on my couch. This tripod has saved me from having to be on my floor all the time. I have finished Ring Shout and Hungerstone, and it is Tuesday. We are running out of time. I only have a couple more days left of this, and I have finished 2 of the 5 books. So, I mean, I think I'm doing okay. I guess I really am doing okay. I really want to finish all 5. Anyways, let's talk about Hungerstone, because I think I left off with that. And I have to eat my own words. Because when I left off, I had just finished part 1, and I was saying, I don't know if this is going to be a 5-star. It's definitely like in 4-star territory. It's just so slow. And here I am happily telling you this is a 5-star. It's a 5-star read. And let me tell you why. This second half made the payoff worth it. We spend the first half of this book, a couple hundred pages, just like 100 pages of her feeling just stuck, right? And I realized after finishing this, you're supposed to feel exhausted with her. She's overrun. She doesn't know if what she's doing is the right thing. And she's just sick and tired of it. She has put herself into a box for decades of her life to survive. And that's what it comes down to. Lenore has done what she has needed to do to survive. It does not make her a good person. It does not make her a bad person. It just makes her a person. She has softened herself and she has shrunk herself in order to fit inside the boxes that society has put on her. Kennedy loves to be under blankets, so I'm gonna let her snuggle me under the blankie and be a happy baby girl. And now Bean is right here, right off camera. Are you jealous? You're fine. I'm gonna move my couch pillow. Okay. She has shrunk herself, and at this point in her life, she is exhausted. She's like, my husband doesn't like me anymore. I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't have friends. My family is all dead. Like, I don't like myself. I don't like who I am. And then they go off to this manor and it's falling apart and it's dilapidated and it's on her to fix it. And she's just overrun. And I hit that second half and I'm like, I am exhausted. And then shit hits the fan. And the second half is like she comes into her own. It's just when she starts to really question everything that she's been told. We discover something really important that's been happening and that shifts her perspective. And she went, okay, I've done everything up to this point to survive. Now I still need to survive, but damn it, I'm going to take what is owed to me. I'm going to take what I deserve and what I want. And there's just so much of what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And her going, I don't know what I want. And her finally being like, you know what I do want? I know what I want. And then her pursuing that. And I've said it to a couple people, but like the second half of this book made me realize that an unhinged gothic lady, capital L lady, is what I need to aspire to be. Just an absolutely unhinged gothic woman. That is my new life goal. That's all I need to do with my life. And I'm inspired. 5-star for me. It is very slow. It is very character driven. I don't necessarily like novels that are all character, low plot, and this is very much all character, low plot, but it worked for me this time. Normally I don't like that. I need there to be something. This is a yes from me. So if you are interested in that slow burn, delving deeply into someone's thoughts to the point of bringing on the brink of madness, this is for you. You like gothic literature, this is for you. I definitely see how she was, yes, I think I've mentioned, very heavily inspired by Carmilla and heavily inspired by The Witch, which is an A24 film. That is the opening, line, the book. It's, wouldst thou like to live deliciously, is how this book opens. Like, that sets the tone for this novel. And then throughout we get more of that imagery of I was just so hungry. What do you hunger for? And I'm like, yeah, I'm hungry. Feed me. This was good. This was good. The other book that I have finished is Ring Shout, and I did look up how to say his name. It is P. Djeli Clark. Okay, so I finished this as well. This novella, and I'm giving this a 3.75. It's not a 4. I had a great time, but I didn't love it. That's why it's not quite a 4. I did enjoy my time with it. It was very, this is gonna sound contradictory. It was very fast paced, but it felt like it took a long time to say what it wanted to say. And I don't know how else to put that so that this makes sense in a different way. It's action-packed. There's always something happening. Opposite to this, where low plot, high character, this felt high plot and high character, but because it's a novella, not everything is fully fleshed out. We don't get every single person's in-depth backstory, but we are focusing really on Maurice and and her three, like the three of them, Maurice and Chef and Sadie. And Maurice is this like champion, and she is the chosen one, if you will. She is on this quest, on this adventure to take down the demons and to prevent this hell opening on Earth. It is an action-packed joyride through 1920s Georgia. So if you are into that, yes, I could easily see this becoming a movie. I'm a little surprised that someone hasn't tried to adapt it. I could see this being like a sci-fi action adventure story, because we have these strong Black women who are standing up against not just racist white supremacists, but also actual demons. And she's got a cool sword that she calls out of nowhere in black smoke, and she's a sword swinging demon slayer. Chef is this bomb baddie, right? And then Sadie is this gun toting badass of a woman. Like, this has the makings to be a fantastic movie. There were just parts of it that definitely went over my head that I wish we had had more time with, that we were able to spend more time with to flesh out some of this information better. And I don't know what I wanted from it. I just felt I wanted more about how this happened. We are thrust right into the middle of it. When the book opens, like, the demons are here. We are supposed to just accept that there are the demons, and we're fighting them, and off we go. And the big baddie is coming, and our champion has to step in and save the day. And that's fine, but I wanted more. I wanted to know how this came to be to begin with. Where did this actually come from? And we get a little bit of that, but I just wanted more. I think this could be a full-length novel, and it could be really helpful. It kind of took a turn in the last couple chapters, and I just started to feel like it was too convenient. We had this event happen, and now we're always on a quest for vengeance and revenge, but we need more allies. We don't have, we're down on our luck. The good guys got attacked. We're backed into a corner. A bunch of our people are killed. What do? We need help. And so we're reaching out for more help, and it just felt convenient. They show up at the 11th hour. And it just, for all of this buildup, the last couple chapters felt way too easy, where suddenly Maurice is supposed to be our champion, right? Like, she's supposed to be the big bad conqueror, and someone else comes in and saves the day for her. And I don't like that. That's my biggest complaint with this, is she is told that she's the champion. The fate of the world rests in her hands. And then at the 11th hour, someone else shows up and does the saving for her. Yeah, I struggle. So 3.75. Where does that leave me? I am about 62% of the way into Nestlings, and I think it's starting to get real interesting. We are definitely getting into details about what the big baddie monster creatures are at the Deptford apartments. The Deptford apartments. They are fascinating. What is happening in this story? I don't know how I feel. I am unsettled. I am grossed out. There were aspects that I listened to yesterday that I was like, bleh, that's disgusting. I'm here for it. So, but I do know this about Nat Cassidy. I did read Mary a year or two ago, and I do recall that there are moments where it is just disgusting. It is gross. He is a master at that, disgusting body horror imagery without it going overboard, in my opinion. For some people, it is too much. In my opinion, I think he toes that line really, really well. And he started to kind of get there yesterday, and he brings us right to the edge of I don't know if I can do this, and then he pulls back. And that's what keeps me reading. That's what keeps me engaged with his writing is, he brought me right there where I almost said, I'm out. And then he backed up and was like, it's all right. I'm just testing. So, things. So I could listen to Nestlings and do some craft. I have a puzzle I'm working on. I also could cross stitch. That also is appealing to me. I have a latch hook rug kit that I am dying to open, but I don't know if I can listen to an audiobook and do latch hook because it's been like 2 decades since I've done latch hook, and I think I'm gonna need to concentrate, at least at the beginning. I can't just like tune out and just start doing it. I don't know. I'm gonna finish my coffee. I'm gonna have a little snack, and then I'll decide what I'm gonna do. That sounds great. Okay, we'll catch you in. Catch you in. I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. Winterween is officially over. And I have to catch you up on some things because I don't know what happened to me. I got busy and I just stopped filming, which is the story of my life. Tuesday, after I filmed my last clip, I went and got my hair cut, and like I really didn't do anything different. I just cut my hair, but there you go. I have a haircut. Wednesday was this like event at Caden's school that I went to. They did like a museum day exhibit where they basically presented their poster boards that they've been creating for like World History Day, and he had a group project and he had a solo project, so I went. It was very cute, it was very loud, it was very noisy, but it was fun to go and support him. He was very excited that we showed up. Thursday, on the official last day of Winterween, I actually went and had like a girls' night with my work bestie. You know her, we love her, Nikki from the Macabre Librarian. Find her in my description. She's brilliant. Please support her small business. But we hung out and we watched the first couple episodes of season 2 of Interview with a Vampire. We've been watching that together since last fall and we're having a blast. We watch it. We ordered Chinese food. I played with her bunnies, plural. We watched our vampire show. I also had the family book club before we watched it. There was so much going on. I finished Nestlings that day, and then I kind of gave myself a little bit of grace because even though it was the last day of Winterween, I was busy, so I really didn't read a lot. So I gave myself like an extra day to finish my last 2 prompts, and I will talk about these too in a moment. I finished Nestlings. I'm giving it a 4. I had a great time with it. It wasn't quite a 5, but I had a fantastic time by the end of it. I was there for it. I take back what I said about Reed. Reed's an asshole. If you've read the book, you know. He was so manipulated by the end of this book and twisted by the quote-unquote vampiric characters in this novel, which I think was done brilliantly. We start off loving Reed. We see his motivations. He just wants the best for his family. He thinks he's doing the right idea, and how fast he got sucked in to believing what he wanted to believe. I don't really want to say anything else because I do think that it could be a spoiler, but just know it does have some body horror. Bugs play a big part of this. There is some Jewish folklore. I also highly recommend, if you read this or listen to it, do stay tuned for the author's note. He includes author's notes. I've noticed he did one for Mary and I really connected with it and I appreciated that he did one. And then he did another author's note for this, and that was awesome. To me, his author's note just really does add a layer to the story. So I do recommend check out the author's note. 4 stars. That leads me to my last 2 books that I have not talked about, which are these 2. We Are Always Tender with Our Dead is the newest book by Eric LaRocca. It is book 1 in his Burnt Sparrow trilogy. I don't even know how to talk about this book. I gave it a 3. I think I'm just intrigued enough where I'm going to continue in the series. I believe he has struck a deal where one will be coming out for the next couple years, like each fall. So this came out in the fall of 2025. His next one should come out this year in 2026, and then book 3 in 2027. This takes place in the town of Burnt Sparrow, New Hampshire, and it is this small town, weird little town that just feels not quite real, not gonna be found on any maps kind of thing, and it's messed up. It is very messed up. Rupert is our main character. He's the 17-year-old boy who is struggling with who he is and his identity and his sexual orientation. His mom has passed. She died a few years ago, and he's stuck living with his dad, and he and his dad just don't get along. And his dad is weird as well. And you know that we're off to some shenanigans because the book opens with this mass casualty event that occurred on Christmas Day. And the town elders like come knock on Rupert's door and they're like, we need you to come look over these bodies. And they're like, what? Rupert and his dad have been assigned the task of preservers because the town has decided that after this mass casualty accident, instead of like removing the dead, they're gonna just leave the dead where they fell, where they died, as like this like living memorial basically for what happened. And it is the preservers' jobs to like guard them, to stand watch over these dead bodies. And that's just the beginning of the weirdness. The town elders are all these old elderly men that show up in purple. They wear purple and they're just like, this is the way we do things. The people that did this mass casualty event are all faceless. That is how they are these humanoid people that have no facial characteristic, no eyes, no nose, nothing. They've got like a little like pinprick for a mouth, like think a faceless doll kind of thing. They're the murderers. They've perpetrated this, and they're like, what are we gonna do with them? It's fucked. There's no other word for this other than it's fucked. It is wild. We get journal entries. We get like website blog posts, diary entries. At one point it's supposed to be that we're like listening to a recording of a tape. It's all over the place. It's just a weird book. It does deal with some very, very heavy things. There is an author's note straight up at the beginning, like a letter to the reader. You do need to read that if you are very sensitive. He does discuss all of his trigger warnings in here. There are some very heavy things in here, and it is not going to be for everyone. It is very graphic. There is graphic violence. There's graphic sexual violence. There's graphic just depictions of weird stuff. I have no other way to describe that. And it's like, if you're into that, then you'll be fine. But like, this is not for everyone. There are some really sensitive topics covered in here. And we're just exploring like what weird people do. The weird shit that people are exposed to. I'm not sure what is going to happen in book 2. I have a feeling we're going to still be in the town of Burnt Sparrow, but I think we're going to be following other people. Wild. And finally, the last book that I did read for this readathon, do you see it? Yes, it is in fact A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is a reimagining, revisitation of Dracula's Brides. This is told in a second person POV from Constanza's point of view. Constanza is like Dracula's bride, and she is talking to you directly, to me directly, to us, the collective us readers directly, as an explanation or as a letter to her dear departed beloved Dracula. Again, I like these author notes at the beginning with trigger warnings. Those are very, very nice. I never dreamed it would end like this, my lord. Your blood splashing hot flecks onto my nightgown and pouring in rivulets onto our bedchamber floor. But creatures like us live a long time. There's no horror left in this world that can surprise me. Eventually, even your death becomes its own sort of inevitability. We're following Constanza, and Constanza basically has decided to kill Dracula, and we are being told she's telling Dracula why she murdered him. like what brought her to this point after decades, after hundreds of years of living with him and being his bride. Why did it get to this point? Why did she get up the gumption to murder him? And it is very good. I think I already said I'm giving this a 4.5. I had a wonderful time with this. It's not quite a 5. I listened to the audiobook of this. The narrator did a fantastic job. I do highly recommend this. This is just a fun, visually appealing, if that makes sense, like inside brain, visually appealing novel of corruption and desire. I mean, it's control, obsession, desire. Yes. Yep. That's what these are. And we revisit just what that looks like. I had a great time. So I've done it. I finished all 5 books that I wanted to read. And now we get to look at the bingo board and see what I actually have accomplished with the bingo board. Did I get a bingo? I believe I did. Just going across, read a book in the dark, read a horror thriller, read a book with red on the cover, a book with vampires, read a book released in 2025, watch a scary movie. I didn't watch a movie, but I'm going to give myself a check mark for this because I did watch Interview with a Vampire, and I do count that as like scary. It wasn't a movie, but we watched 2 episodes, which is about movie length. Bake a fall snack. No, I did not bake anything. Listen to a Halloween playlist. I did not. During the Winterween reading sprints, I did do that. So basically nothing along that bottom row, but I did get 2 bingos. I'm counting it. And with that, my friends, my lovelies, my darlings, I'm wrapping this up here. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very, very soon. In the meantime, be easy with your hearts.